Hi everybody, this is Kareem answering the question of the month for the month of October. And it goes something like this. They ask if any Pacific trauma, lead me to my diagnosis, or did a Pacific trauma happen after? Mine's happened after. Because, I lived in a small city and everybody knew I was messing with this guy. And I guess he affected other people since everybody knew I was messing when they was coming to me. Kareem, go get tested right now. I was getting approached in clubs. People was, telling me about, day stories. People was hitting me up on different websites, telling me that this person affected them, and they basically know I got it. And I was like, well, I don't got it. I never had sex with him without a condom, which I was lying, at this point. I didn't want anybody to know, what I had going on, because I already knew that I was positive at this point. I just was denying it. I was, making myself, like, oh, I'm not in that group of people that he gave it to. Sorry for them. I'm sorry they wanted to, bring up charges. They was going through all these different kind of emotions out here in Syracuse. And I was like, no, I don't want to be part of their number. I was more dealing with my own shame, my own embarrassing moments with HIV. So I wasn't at that point comfortable. I told myself at that point, this is something that I'm going to take to the grave. I'm not telling my family. I didn't even tell none of my close friends. The only thing I did do, was I told my ex, make sure he was good or whatever. And he wound up being negative. So, which was a blessing, but I panicked. I ran back to New York City. When I went to New York City, I'm like, nobody know, I'm gonna be good. None of my, my family don't know, friends don't know, only my two sisters know. And that's it. And I'm cool with that. I can lean on my sisters and them if anything come up, and I'm thinking nobody know at this time. And I come back to New York City. I go stay with a lady that I consider my aunt. I wouldn't look at her no other way but an auntie, our mother figure in my life. She always been there for me. And I was staying with her. I was staying at her house, and I caught a cold. And I remember, I was sitting there coughing, whatever. She said, "You want me to make you some tea or something?" And she made me some tea. So I'm sitting at her kitchen table drinking the tea, and I'm coughing and stuff. So she come to me, and mostly all my friends call me Raheem. And she come and say, "Raheem, you sick?" And I'm like, "No, I'm kind of a little something. I think I'm coming down with a cold, but it's nothing major. I'm okay." And then she was like, "You sick?" And I'm like, "Huh?" Like, she just started drilling me, telling me, you sick, and I know you sick, you can't do this stuff by your own. I heard from a reliable source that you got HIV. And I'm like, where you get that from? She was like, no, so I'm asking her, who told you that? Who told you I got HIV? She was like, well, your sister. And I'm like, my sister? And she was like, yeah, your sister, told me you got HIV, blah, 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 you got support. And I'm like, well, I don't got, still was denying. I was like, I don't got HIV. The person I was messing with, got, had it, and I'm still getting tested. Nothing came back positive yet. Just lying, telling them this, just so nobody know. Then I started going around asking different people, you heard I had HIV? And people's like, yeah, I heard, but I didn't want to approach you, because since you didn't come to me and talk about it, I just didn't, want to believe it. And it traumatized me so bad. I literally was embarrassed. I wanted to run again. I'm like, where do I go? How do I deal with this? And, I wasn't ready to tell everybody yet. Well, I thought I would never tell anybody. I'm surprised today that I'm on this such public platform, telling my stories and dealing with it, the way I'm dealing with it today. I would have thought it would never be me, standing up here telling my story, even answering questions of the month. I can't believe how I grew, from that trauma. And I took that trauma, how people say, you take those lemons and you make lemonade. And I wound up running back to Syracuse, because now I'm like, oh, all my childhood friends know, everybody know, that I wasn't expecting to, one of the families that I was real close with kinda, was whooshed on me. I had an argument with one of the lady I call my aunt daughters, and I remember her, telling me that you faggot, you're gonna die from AIDS. And I remember this one phone call, like this one of we called her like one of the mothers of the neighborhood, and I called her. She always had the same number for years, and I called her, and I remember the first thing she said when I moved to Syracuse is, "Raheem, don't get the AIDS." And Raheem got the AIDS, in the sense of what they call AIDS, but I got HIV. And I started thinking, like, all of these people know my business, and I didn't want them to. I'm embarrassed. I literally wanted to hide and run. So I went back to Syracuse and said I might as well be here and deal with the strangers, accusing me of having it, and they don't really know. I could keep denying it and lying and get away with it, a little longer, go through my emotions, deal with this myself before, you pushed out there to start telling your story or just talk about it, so yeah, my trauma happened to me after, which I'm thankful for today, because that trauma really became my victory, because I took it and I'm making the best out of it today. Like, we say in the campaign, HIV stops with me. It didn't stop me, and I mean that from my heart. It stops with me. And I want to be the voice for those people who don't want to be as open and public as me. Like, I get it. This is something that you just want to deal with, take your medicine, and stay healthy and be alive. Like, being an advocate is not an easy task. Like, being told you're glorifying HIV, or you making it, like HIV is something to look good. Like, no, we not glorifying HIV. It's not that we making it seem like it is a good thing to have HIV. We just showing people that look good living with HIV. And that's why I'm happy to be part of, answering these questions. And I'm thankful for all I've been through. And I'm glad that I could stand here today and say, it is what it is. You get what I'm saying?